Let's make tunnel cloud cards today, and for that I will be using two of my new sets with Spellbinders. So this is the new collection with Spellbinders that I just released, which is called Tunnel Scapes. I did share a video yesterday taking you through all these products, but for this video I will be focusing on two of them, which are the Tunnel Clouds and the Fly Away set. And then for my sentiments I will be using the only stamp set from this collection, where you will find lots of sentiments to play with. The basic concept of my tunnel collection is that you use these dies that are going to create windows that you can layer one on top of the other to create your tunnel effect. So I have here 4 panels of cardstock, all of them are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I placed them from darker to lighter. The darker one is going to be my base, so for now I'm going to leave it aside. I will be doing my die cutting on the other 3 panels. So I want to have one die for each one of those panels, and what you need to remember is that you need to place the larger die on the front panel, and as you go towards the bottom, you go all the way from the larger to the smaller one. So like so. I will be running everything through my die cutting machine, and here is what I have up to now. I'm placing them on top of my dark base, and then just by playing with the color of the cardstock you can see how I got that effect from lighter all the way to darker. You can have even more dramatic color combination, obviously. You can go monochromatic, you can use white cardstock and just use your blending brushes to do some blending on the cardstock. The sky is the limit here, and of course once you have all your panels ready, you may want to give your card some dimension. Now there are many ways to go here. You can either use foam squares at the back of each and every layer. This is going to make your card quite bulky. That's what I'm going to do for this card, so you can see how bulky it's going to get. Another way that you can do is to just stick it with glue one on top of the other. You will get dimension since you do have thick cardstock, and I will do that for the next cards so you can see the thickness again. Another thing that you can do is to just pop one of all those layers and stick the other layers together. You can just customize what you want to do and add as much of dimension as you want. So here for these layers, where I used foam squares in between, I get a thickness of 1/8 of an inch. Now I do have my tunnel clouds base ready to go, and all I need to do is to add some focal points. One way to go is to use the airplane or the kite from the Fly Away set, or you can definitely use the dies that are already included in the cloud set, where you will find the stars, the moon, the sun, and even extra clouds. But for the cards today I will be playing with the airplane and the kite, and I think that these two sets complement each other. And let's start with the plane. Now for the plane you only need to use 2 dies to combine them together. I went with colored cardstock and I used yellow and red. And then of course I do have all that dimension on my tunnel, so I can add some foam squares at the back of my plane. I'm going to peel them off, and I'm going to stick that in between the clouds as if it is coming from behind. I absolutely love the angle of this airplane, as if you can see the belly from below. Now I am going to add some gems to embellish the background. These are going to read as stars, and they are going to add something extra on the card that is otherwise quite simple, but I think that it is striking with all those vibrant colors. And then of course all that's left to do is to add a sentiment. There are plenty of sentiments that you can use in the stamp set from this collection. I am going to go with The Sky is the Limit for this card, which I'm going to stamp with embossing ink on top of black cardstock. I'm going to use fine white embossing powder and then heat set it. I did cut out the sentiment in a very thin strip. That's why I designed this stamp set with very small font and very typical typewriter font, so that it can be used with pretty much every style. And my panel is ready. All I need to do is to stick it on top of a white pre-folded card. You can see here some close-up photos. And for today I'm going to share one more card, same concept and color combo, but a little bit different. So let's switch things up a little bit. Again, I'm starting with 4 panels. The darker one is going to be at the very far back, so I'm going to leave it aside, and I will do the die cutting on top of those 3 panels, just like I did before. But this time I'm not going to place those dies at the center. I'm going to slide them at the corner. So this is going to give me a completely different look. And of course you can recreate this idea on every one of those 4 corners. So again, same concept, the larger dies goes on the panel that you want at the front. And then after you cut it out, place it on the second panel. And then you can pretty much decide where you want that die to go. These dies are very forgiving. There is no right or wrong way to place them down. So just play around, making sure that once you run it through your die cutting machine and you layer those panels one on top of the other, you will be able to see some of that blue peeking through from behind. So again, I'm repeating the same process, just laying the die on the third panel and then running it through, and you can see how it looks now. Now I don't want you to be afraid of those panels making your card very bulky. That's why I'm making this card by using glue completely. So I'm going to stick all those panels together by just using my glue. So this is going to give the cloud tunnel effect, but at the same time it's going to keep it quite flat and fit inside an envelope. And there are other ways to put those panels together, for example with an accordion hinge. I will share a video using that, where you will get lots of dimension when you take the card out of the envelope, but then we can easily squeeze it and put it inside. So here I'm just using my paper trimmer to make sure that this panel is nice and neat. And then for this card, let's use the dies that put together the kite. You will find the base of the kite, all the little triangles, so that you can customize it with different colors. There is a tail with bows, another die that cuts out 4 bows in one passing, and there is a tail which is without bows. Completely simple if you want to go that way. So I'm going to do some die cutting and glue all the pieces together. Now I am going to use liquid glue for all these pieces, because this way I can easily slide them into place. When you cut out the base of the kite, you will find that there are scoring lines which are going to allow you to see exactly where you're supposed to stick all the triangles. And of course, by getting all the triangles separately, you get the option to customize your kite with different colors. You can use pattern paper if you like, or you can definitely go ahead and use your markers or ink blending to add some color. Now I'm going to attach the tail, and on top of the tail I'm going to stick all the bows that I have cut out. Now I went again with the same color combination, red and yellow, just like I did with the plain previously, so these 2 cards could definitely be part of a set. Now I did use some foam tape behind my kite, but you can definitely go with glue and keep everything flat. I'm adding a dot of glue behind one of the bows just to make sure that the tail is going to stay put, and then all that's left to do again is to add the sentiment. Again, I'm going to use the same concept as I did for the previous card, where I white emboss the sentiment on top of black cardstock, and then cut it out in a very thin strip and stick it on top of my card. So here is the second card, and you will see that it is not bulky at all. I'm going to show you how thick it is. It definitely fits inside an envelope, so don't be afraid to use this collection. Although it looks bulky, you don't have to use foam squares and you still get the beautiful effect. So some finishing touches, just added a few of those gems, and here are some close-up photos on the card that I did with the kite. And of course you can switch things up. Instead of using a kite on that corner, you can use the plane, and here is a card example of how that would look. And also you can use another corner, so here you can see the kite on the other side. So these were the cards for today. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. The collection is now available and you can find the links down below in the description. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you all next time.